Now that we've made a GM build for both the Warlock and the Hunter, it finally means we can make one for the Titan. Hello everybody, I'm Hater and welcome back to another Destiny 2 build video, where we're going to go over the Titan side of my trio of GM builds. Before we get into that though, if you guys are new here and you enjoy the build, remember to leave a like on the video, comment any build ideas that you want to see me cover in the future, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell to be notified whenever a new build video is out. But for GM content, there are going to be two subclasses that are going to be able to fill the roles in your fire team. If you have a support role already filled, this is stuff like your Well of Radiance or your Ursa Furiosa, then you can run Bottom Tree Sunbreaker and take advantage of its ability to clear ads effectively. If you are the one to fill the support role, however, you'll be running the Ursa Furiosa with Middle Tree Sentinel so that you can give your team protection, a damage buff, and half of your super back every time you spawn the banner shield. So with that in mind, we're going to talk about the build that we'll be using for both subclasses. What we're going to be focusing the build around is the abilities Soul Invictus for Bottom Sunbreaker, where solar ability kills restore health, then our Grenade, melee ability, and Sun Warrior kills leave a deadly sunspot in their wake. Then Controlled Demolition and Resupply for the Middle Sentinel, where whenever we hit an enemy with an ability, it's going to apply a Void Detonator, and when we kill the target or hit them enough times, it's going to cause the Void Detonator to explode. Then for each detonator that explodes, it gives us and our fire team health as well as grenade and melee energy back. Both of the subclasses are going to be able to primarily proc their abilities with a grenade. So for the build, we're going to use a Charge with Light build focused on the mod Firepower, where throwing our grenade is going to give us grenade energy back, consuming 1 stack of Charge with Light, and each extra copy of Firepower will increase the amount of grenade energy we receive. Now, we could honestly just throw 4 of these on and get our grenade back almost instantaneously, but it's both not practical and useful in endgame content. So for the build, we're going to be using 2 of them to get 30% of our grenade back every time we throw one. To get the stacks of Charge with Light, we're going to use a Taking Charge, so every orb of power we pick up, it's going to give us a stack of Charge with Light. Then for a safety net, we're going to use the mod Protective Light, so whenever our shields break, we lose all stacks of Charge with Light and gain a 4 times damage resistance for a duration based on how many stacks we had at the time. Then to top it all off, we're going to use a Charged Up so that our Charge with Light stacks cap at 3 instead of 2. This is to balance out firepower so it doesn't eat up all of our stacks and leave us defenseless. For the secondary mods, these are the mods that will fit only specific pieces, energy types, and come from the artifact are going to be the popular Particle Deconstruction for whenever we run fusion rifles or linear fusion rifles. Something some people don't know is that you don't need everyone to run Particle Deconstruction because only one person needs to apply the debuff. So whenever we don't have to run Particle Decon, we use the artifact mod Withering Heat on our Sunbreaker so that whenever we hit a champion with an ability, it's going to apply specifically a 30% debuff to them for 6 seconds. The reason I say specifically a debuff is because this will not stack with Particle Deconstruction. The reasoning for this is explained over at my How to Get the Best DPS video. It'll be in the top right if you're interested. It just means you have the option of using either Withering Heat for whenever you're in the situation where one or both of your teammates are dead and you need to make a clutch play or trade it out and fully invest into more stacks of Charge with Light with the mod Supercharged. To get a better understanding of how everything looks in your armor, let's move over to my Titan and break down where to put everything and the energy you want your armor to be. For your helmet, you're going to want this to be solar, and this is where one of the 2 firepowers is going to be. For the rest of the helmet, you're going to be able to fit either a ammo finder of choice or an ashes to assets so you gain super energy whenever your grenade kills something. Moving over to the arms, you're going to want these to be void and put Protective Light into it. For the rest of the arms, there's basically enough space so that you can put any combination of champion mods into it to fit whatever GM you're doing and what loadout you're using. Next up on the chest piece, this can be any energy you want or have and put Taking Charge into it. Then of course you have the space to fit whatever damage resist mods you need for any GM. For the boots, these are also going to be solar and the other of the 2 firepowers is going to be inside of it. As for the rest of the boots, you have enough space to fit any ammo scav of choice, and if you can manage it, put a recuperation in so that whenever you pick up a orb of power, it's going to give you your HP back. Then finally, on your class item, you can literally fit whatever you want into it. But as I mentioned earlier, you can put either particle deconstruction or withering heat in as your main mod, then a supercharged or charged up as your fill-in mod. This will primarily come down to if you're running Sunbreaker or Sentinel and whatever your loadout currently is. Now that we've gone through the entirety of the mods and armor, let's talk about the exotics that would complement this build. And we've got an absolute arsenal to get the job done. For starters, in the sweet middle ground of both subclasses, the best exotic for straight neutral potential is the chest piece Heart of Inmost Light, where whenever you use an ability, it's going to amplify the other two, increasing their damage and regeneration, stacking up to 2 times. This will stack on to the 2 firepowers we're using, giving us even more grenade energy and allowing us to proc Soul Invictus and control Demolition more often. For Sunbreaker specifically, we can pair the Path of the Burning Steps with weapons like the Vex Mythoclast or any other solar weapon, so that whenever we get a kill with those weapons, it's going to amplify their damage even further, making ad clear much more easier. Then of course you have the option of not running Path of the Burning Steps because, as we know, the buff that Path of the Burning Steps give doesn't stack with your Sunspots damage buff. So what we can do to work around this is to fully invest into Sunspots and use the Phoenix Cradle so that all of our Sunspots will now give our teammates Sun Warrior on top of us getting Sun Warrior, and it'll double the duration from 5 seconds to 10 seconds. Then for the options that we have with the Sentinel, the first obvious one is definitely, as I mentioned before, going to be the Ursa Furiosa, so that whenever you are blocking with your banner shield, every hit is going to count towards giving you your super back. And when your super ends, it can give you up to half of your super back based on how much damage you absorb. Then finally, I'm taking a note from my other Sentinel video where we can use the Doomfang Pauldrons as overall ad control. The only reason I recommend Doomfangs as an option is because there are certain GMs where you can't be running solar subclasses and you need to fill Void as an option. And with Doomfang Pauldron allowing you to increase the duration on your super based on how many kills you get with the shield toss, it's going to basically turn it into more of an ad clear super than a overall damage buff, but you still have the option of using the banner shield in certain scenarios. And with that, I think that's going to cover the video for today. Remember guys, if you have any questions about the build or anything that you think would help the build out overall, leave them down in the comments and I will get to them as fast as possible. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm going to see you guys in the next build video. Bye bye.